Mike
But yeah,
Ashley though is looking at Derby as his next business venture. God help them.
um, is he trying to go to prison
It
or
very much
something?
sounds like it.
Because all he
Yeah.
wants to do is play tennis for 10 years, and then he's just going to get some white collar case and just go play tennis in a prison for 10 years. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Footy Fetish podcast with myself, Alfie, my boy Ollie,
Yo.
and Dan Bardell.
Yo,
How's it going, fellas? How's it going?
All good, mate. All good. England's had a good chance.
Oof,
Yeah. Phil Foden.
lovely,
Not quite.
lovely. Hopefully, we should get that result in.
But, yeah.
But yeah, it's been a quiet week of football. Nothing much going on. Obviously, international break. A lot of I guess the World Cup qualifiers, Nations League. That's about it, to be honest. And then obviously the main thing dominating the headlines at the moment is Newcastle. We spoke briefly about this on Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've lost track of days. It's on Thursday we spoke about it. I think the deal had been done then, right? Like it had been
It had been done that day.
pushed through and everything. But obviously a bit of a development. Has Steve Bruce been sacked officially yet?
Not officially.
No.
Soon.
no.
Well, I mean, he should be. But I've also heard Newcastle looking for managers. I don't know if you guys have seen the shortlist, but at the moment they are looking at the likes of Brendan Rodgers, Frank Lampard, and Steven Gerrard as the three I've seen the most linked to the role. Obviously, Conte was linked, but he quickly put himself out of the running for that job, saying he's not interested.
Not really
Which I
surprising that.
can't really blame him. He's a man of pedigree, and Newcastle are not. But yeah, no. What do you guys think of the Rodgers, Lampard, and Gerrard connections?
Um, it's not
I
that
think,
inspiring, really.
Yeah.
Not very.
I mean, would Rogers really leave Leicester for Newcastle? I understand, it's an opportunity, but they're clearly it's going to take a long time. So Rogers is going to be like the Mark Hughes, I think, if he went there.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the problem that they've got at the minute. And I was thinking about this as well because I know you guys were saying about Graham Potter being linked as well. And it's the same situation. If you were him, you don't want to be that guy that's going
Starting again.
Yeah, who's starting again. And if anything, they're more likely still to go down than they are.
Yeah.
Actually progress with that squad anyway. So
100%.
yeah, it's such a big risk. I can imagine Lampard because he's just not doing anything.
Yeah.
Gerrard, I think, is just waiting it out, waiting for that Liverpool job, and I think that's sort of
I think you're right, mate.
done and dusted. Yeah, but Lampard, I can see because Lampard's already taken Chelsea, so why would he turn down Newcastle?
Yeah, you can still get that some Prem experience there, well, managerial Prem experience, but not when you've got that much pressure, like the Chelsea sort of pressure he had. I think it might do him good, but I don't think either three of those names are massively going to do well. They're not going to do amazing. I don't think they need to be targeting maybe someone at a slightly higher level of managerial sort of like. Brendan Rodgers has got the most experience out of them, so he'd probably make the most sense. But like you say, it's just about whether he would leave Leicester. Maybe Leicester are thinking of getting rid of him at some point.
Yeah, what I was about to say. Like, if going, results don't continue to not really go their way, maybe Leicester do look for another manager, and that opens the gate for Rodgers to go to Newcastle. But
I don't think it
I
will
like
happen
Gerrard.
that quickly, though.
No. I like Gerrard for this job. I think if he's smart, Rangers, I know they're top of the league, but they're actually doing pretty terrible in terms of the way they're playing and stuff like that. They're not doing great. So I mean, being top of the
Just
Scottish
like
league, I mean, do
Newcastle then.
you know what I mean? But that's I just think it would be a good opportunity for him because if he inherits this team, the Steve Bruce team, and he does badly, then he's got a little bit of a scapegoat in the fact that the team is awful and the club is still ran horrifically. And it gives him Premier League experience that another team might come and pick him up in the summer or in like a year or so. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I think they'll keep Steve Bruce for the season.
I don't think so. I think they're going to get rid
They
pretty
shouldn't do.
promptly.
They shouldn't do,
Mm.
because he doesn't deserve it. I don't care. Like people, I don't know what it is about people just fucking feeling sorry for Steve Bruce. The dude's a terrible manager. I'm sorry, but he's a shit manager. He is so tactically inept. I know he's got a bad squad and stuff, but he has he has one tactic, and if it doesn't work, he doesn't do anything else. He bought wingers, and then now plays a formation that doesn't use wingers. Now he's just got Ryan Fraser and people like that sitting on the bench for no reason, not getting any minutes. Just
Ryan
because he's
Fraser?
softly spoken and says stuff about his parents not seeing fucking social media. Everyone in football gets it. I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Everyone in football gets it, right or wrong. Like, it's part and parcel of the job. Like, get with the times, man. But this will be his last managerial job, really. I think.
How old is
I
he?
can't imagine.
Do you know?
Huh?
Do you know how old he is?
I don't. But do you know he has a series of books out?
Yeah, we've spoken about this. I think
We have,
quite a
haven't we?
while ago. It was during the first season of the podcast. It was ages
He's
ago.
60.
But,
He's 60. So he had sweeper, defender, and striker all come out
well, they're
about
like murder mystery novels or something.
They were mystery novels around football. Yeah. It's so funny, man.
Oh god.
So funny. But no, he's an awful manager.
Well, do you think he's going to make it to the Spurs game? Because that is actually going to be his 1000th game if he, gets there. He's on 999 at the moment.
Yeah,
The
he
manager.
thought that the last game could have been his 1000th, but it turns out the first game he managed, he was still like a caretaker manager or something. He wasn't fully appointed, so this is technically going to be his 1000th. But yeah,
The fact that he has almost 1,000 games under his belt is horrendous. As a man, like, that's bad.
yeah. Don't get me. He's done things in the past that have been a lot better than what he's done in recent history, but yeah, he can't rely on everything that he's done in his sort of previously in his career and nothing from recent history, because
Didn't he
recent
still
history is
get
the most
the-
accurate.
Didn't he still get the same position that Rafa did?
What do you mean?
Didn't he finish 12th, didn't they, under Steve Bruce? And didn't they do the same under Rafa? Or
What, last year?
I think so.
Yeah, you might be right. Let me just Google that. So 2021. They finished 12th. So yeah, I guess what was the season before that? And that was his first season, was it last year? They finished
Yeah, I think
13th. So if anything, he actually improved.
There you go.
But he did get, like, you have to remember, he did get Callum Wilson, and Rafa Benitez did not have Callum Wilson.
Yeah, he brought in St Maximin and Callum Wilson, didn't he? Pretty sure.
Yeah,
he did.
so he had those two on top of
Yeah.
the.
Not just
thing.
Jolington.
Saint Maximin, another winger that is managed because he's good enough to fit into another position. But imagine if he wasn't, that'd be another person sitting on the bench not used now because they don't use wingers.
Yeah.
But yeah, talking of transfers, let's get into some transfer windows because they are fucking hilarious, boys.
Oh my god,
They are
incredible.
hilarious. So we've got Philippe Coutinho. Oh, can you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I froze on my screen there. We're all good. Philippe Coutinho, Kalidou Koulibaly, who obviously last summer was linked to Manchester City and now is plays for Napoli and they're top of the Serie A, but wants to go to Newcastle United. Aaron Ramsey, Ousmane Dembele, Jesse Lingard, Dean Henderson, Eric Bailly, and Mauro Icardi. Rio Ferdinand's also come out and said on his podcast that they should be looking at like the likes of Jesse Lingard, Raheem Sterling, and Declan Rice. So none of those players will go there. Maybe Aaron Ramsey, because I think that he could get his wages matched, probably, as like the Robinho transfer type thing. But yeah, I don't know. People are going a bit crazy with this whole Newcastle thing. What do you got, Bards? I'm actually quite interested to get your opinion on the whole way this team is going to work with financials, because obviously me and Ollie spoke about it, but we haven't really heard from you in terms of transfers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, Hungary have a penalty against England.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm behind at the moment, I think, but there's a VAR check going on.
It is a penalty. But in regards to how they're going to spend money, I mean, I can. If the sort of consortium is allowed to pump that much money into it, then yeah, I can totally see Casino going there because they want him off the off the wage bill, and he can probably go for pretty cheap, like in relative in terms of a player, probably of his quality. But you know, they'll be paying top dollar for a player that nobody else wants, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I can see him going there. Sterling, I think, is actually quite an interesting one, because if they suddenly sign like 3 big players, then there's every chance that Sterling could go for a relatively decent amount, if not exactly what City paid. So I don't think that's in the, you know, realms of impossibility. But yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if they go like all out, because to be honest, they need a whole new back line, probably a new keeper, probably need to get rid of like a load of their players that they've currently got, which at the minute, who's going to buy the likes of Joe Linton and you know, players like that? Probably
FFP is going to fuck them.
Yeah, but then they've been operating at a profit, haven't they, for like ever?
Yeah, that's true.
Mike Ashley has operated at a profit, so they can actually afford to spend like loads of money and get away with it. So if they want to do it fast, they probably could do it fast. Whether that's a success is another story, but they can definitely pump money into it. Absolutely.
1-0.
Yeah, I think some of them will be interesting. I mean, if they get a manager like Lampard as well, Lampard's going to want to be like, yeah, I want Coutinho and Sterling, and maybe a name like Lampard, because he's so well regarded in the England camp as well. Players like Sterling might want to go, especially if he's not doing well at City. But then again, it's the old argument that they've not got Champions League football, have they? So until they
got anything.
So until they have that, are players really going to want to go there? It's fine if you miss Champions League football for a year. You're 28. You're going there for your peak years. No.
And let's be honest, like players still are joining a terrible team. That's what people have to realise as well when signing with this team. If they do sign a Raheem Sterling, this whole thing would just be Raheem Sterling.
100%.
There's no one else.
It's like
it'd be like St. Maximum.
It's a bit like PSG from before they actually could buy all these sort of players. They had the money to, but they didn't actually have all the players. And now it seems like Newcastle are going to be the club that has all the money but doesn't have the players, and eventually over a long period of time, due to financial fair play and all these other things, when they're going to become a more attractive club, they're going to get these players, and they could end up like a PSG, just having world-class players but having such a shit infrastructure in the actual club that they don't do anything. Well, they're just shit.
Yeah, I also do think that I do feel like teams like United and Chelsea, like these and City, aren't just going to let Newcastle come in and sweep up some great talent either, like your Declan Rices and that. Say if Newcastle put in a bid for Declan Rice, I guarantee Chelsea come in straight away with a better one.
100%, yeah. And
they're
much
Declan
more
Rice is
attractive.
gonna go. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, if they end up with, I mean, like even Jesse Lingard, Eric Bailly, people, even names like that, it's not like, I know Jesse Lingard sort of had a bit of a revival and that kind of thing, and he is a very decent player. But it's still not well beat. Like Newcastle could have signed Jesse Lingard under Mike Ashley, if we're being completely honest. That's not anything new under these new owners.
Definitely.
I totally agree. And same with probably Eric Bailly. If they put in a bid of 30 million, they probably could have had him, or even 20.
Oh my god, could you imagine? If you got 30 million for Eric Bailly, that is daylight robbery.
I think we paid 35, so. But do you know what I mean? But even if they paid 20, that would have tested their resolve, you know. So yeah, these aren't like huge signings. As you say, like a player like Declan Rice, to be honest, he's such a good footballer. He wouldn't move for the money. He'd move for the now, which is I'll win trophies. So I'm going to go to the best team that's going to win trophies now, not in 5 years.
Not going to make the same mistakes that Wijnaldum made.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Grass isn't always greener just because the money is.
That's it, mate. Yeah. Anyone in this like footballing world that takes money over football are just automatically kind of dead to me. And even if they're a great player, I still think that they're rubbish. I'll be like, nah, he's rubbish. He's rubbish. I'll just claim he's rubbish. But I don't know, with Declan Rice, like, there's no way. Like, that's such a huge step down. I mean, wherever these players are coming from, it's a massive, massive step down.
Definitely.
initially.
It's not like Man City, is it? Man City were at least finishing higher than Newcastle were when they got taken over.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is a huge step down, especially when a player like Declan Rice has got fans that absolutely adore him and love him, and he could be West Ham's highest paid player probably if he signs a new deal.
Yeah.
So regardless of the amount of money that Newcastle would offer him, I don't think he'd ever go to Newcastle.
And then no, I've been to Newcastle. It is a lovely place. But if you've got money, ain't no way you live in London to go live in Newcastle.
No.
Just not happening.
No.
It's just not happening. Sorry.
You get a lot more for your money up there, but it's not.
You don't even need to worry about more
exactly.
for your money at that point. You just got bags of it, man.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't get it. Raheem Sterling's an interesting one, just because he is a bit out of favour at Man City at the moment. They could throw a big deal money at him, but I've seen a lot of rumours of him in Barcelona. I have no idea how Barcelona can afford that, but
that's the
I'm
thing.
sure
It's going to be one of those situations where, he will just. Sorry, Buds, your face just then froze in the most creepy smile.
Fantastic.
Sorry. It'll be one of those situations where other teams might come in, better teams, but they might offer less money, and that's definitely the route he should go down. I don't think he will make. Well, he might do. You never know. To be honest, he might make the same mistake as Wijnaldum and just go purely for the money. But at the same time, he needs to think that what am I actually going to be enjoying the football that I'm playing? Probably not for at least a couple of years. I think there will be other teams that will come in for him, maybe even outside of the Premier League, that will offer him something that might not be as much money, but it will be a better deal in the long run, just because they're a better team than Newcastle are and will be probably over the next year or two before they start to seriously bring in a couple more players and will maybe actually do something.
Yeah, I'm just looking at what Alan Shearer. So I'm just looking at what I've just read this outright from Alan Shearer. He thinks that they should go for Coutinho, Jesse Lingard, Özil, and Dele Alli.
Jesus Christ!
I mean, they all play in the same position. That'd be really good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Incredibly average.
Yeah, I mean, that's just not making anyone. I mean, it is making Newcastle better because they are awful. But I don't know. This whole thing is very weird, isn't it? I guess because it's so new and we haven't really seen anything of it yet. We just know that they've got new owners and they've been rumoured to be pumping in so much money or whatever. And I don't know, man. I just stopped believing that Newcastle were going to be this incredible team until I see it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
We've seen teams with money like Villa, Everton. All these teams have crazy money as well, and they're still very much an average Premier League team.
Yeah.
So, just slightly above average, I guess, is probably fair to say.
I mean, I'm surprised they're not linked with the player that's rumoured to be going to Arsenal in January as well.
Yeah, who we got on here? Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Potential loan move, obviously, for the Gooners, but that would be a great move for Newcastle to bring him aside Joe Willock as well in that midfield. That could be lovely for them. But we'll talk about Ollie.
Arsenal, Arsenal rejects team, bringing in Özil as well.
Yeah, they'll sign David Luiz. They're just going to be so you either hand-me-downs from Chelsea to Arsenal, then to Newcastle.
Exactly. Liverpool used to just raid Southampton all the time and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So their dead players would just go back to Southampton afterwards. So it's going to be with Arsenal and Newcastle.
Oh, I love it. But what do you think of that then with Arsenal?
I'm not going to be. I don't know what to think of it really. I haven't really seen enough of Oxlade-Chamberlain over the last year or so to show me that he's good enough to sort of be part in that Arsenal team.
We've not really seen much of him since he's joined Liverpool. Exactly. If we're being honest.
Yeah, I know he's had injuries and stuff like that, and he does play the odd game quite well, but that's all you ever really hear of him. You don't hear of that. Ox has been dominating sort of all over the field. He doesn't get the game time to be able to, and I'm if it's a loan, fine. But I don't want to sign him back until I've seen more of him, because it's just going to be a case of Liverpool will offload him to us, we'll get him, he'll do absolutely nothing, he'll be absolutely shit, and then it will just be Arsenal have done another Arsenal thing, and it's just.
Do you not just think that anyway, and just think why not just know, he left, cut your losses. He left when you needed him. So if anything, just move on, regardless. Do you not think?
Yeah, I'm not. I didn't really even know about this until I read the notes earlier. I've not really seen much about it, but I don't think. Yeah, I don't. I'm not really bothered either way, but I think I would rather go if we're going to get anyone on loan or even sign anyone. It's going to need to be maybe someone with a bit more to them.
Yeah.
He's just not been playing enough.
No, he hasn't. I'm just trying to find out how many like starts he's had for Liverpool. It's quite hard. I know he's got four.
One thing you will hear, the good thing that Klopp is good at is bigging up players when they barely play. Like he thinks Origi's this given talent when he's actually very, 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 very average. And then he'll say the same whenever Ox plays in like the Carabao Cup. He'll be like, "What a monster of a performance!" Which I know that's what managers do, but Klopp's exceptionally good at doing that, and that's why they manage to sell all their players on for pretty big fees when they're
the Ox controlled that midfield against Oxford United.
Yeah. And then he'll make a bench appearance, and then you won't see him again for the rest of the season.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think a loan move for Arsenal could be quite good because if you're like, if you're for the rest of the season, because if you've got to throw up the idea of El Neni or Oxlade-Chamberlain, you'd rather just take a punt on Oxlade-Chamberlain, just see what happens, innit? In that position.
But this is the thing, obviously he's always struggled with injury as well. I don't want to get him on loan and then him be injured for the majority of the loan and be like, well, what's the fucking point in that?
That would happen as well.
Exactly. It's written in the stars. It's going to happen. But yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting though. It's an interesting one. I wouldn't want him at Palace. I'll be honest, like quite frank about it. I wouldn't want him at Palace.
There's no need.
He is too injury prone, huh?
There's no need for him to be.
Yeah, we
Palace.
don't need him. It's just a weird one. I don't know. It would be getting in the way, I guess. Somehow we now have a stacked midfield. It's fucking annoying.
I can definitely see. The more I think about it now, the more I think now that is one I can definitely see Newcastle going for, because they could probably get him in. It will seem like a big signing. In reality, it won't quite work the way it was intended, which is normally how these things go.
Those are the types of players that they need to be targeting, though. They can't be looking at Dembele and Coutinho and all these sort of bigger name players that, quite frankly, at the moment, I don't think Newcastle are good enough, or they're not attractive enough of a club to be getting those sort of players. They need to be going for someone maybe like an Ox or someone that's lower down that they can slowly sort of build up to that. So if they're going in to try and sign like Coutinho or something and go, well, we've got Jolinton that you can play with and stuff like that. They're not attractive players. They're not going to bring in, help bring anyone into the club, anyone of great significance anyway. But if you say someone along the lines of Oxlade-Chamberlain, it's a bit of a step up there. Like they need to be making these smaller steps up before they try and take these big leaps. It's 1-1 by the way. England have equalised. John Stones, I think. But yeah,
I think you're right. I'm saying that's like the kind of signing they need to go for. But he would probably be keen as well because he probably wants to play football consistently. Whether that's actually capable for him to do is another story. But he'll probably want to do that. And then if he thinks, you know what, I can drive this team to a European place, even if it's Europa, then that's fantastic, and that is probably achievable for Newcastle in a year, 2 years to get a Europa League place. You know, so he might think, you know what, this is probably a good move at this stage of his career, and he would be like the main man. So that's probably the move I can foresee happening. I like to think that Mikel Arteta is probably smarter than I give him credit for. So hopefully he wouldn't really go for that move. I don't really.
I'd like to think that as well.
I can't see that happening. I could fully see if Gallagher continues how he's playing for us and continues to smash it, I could see Newcastle heavily overpaying for Conor Gallagher in that midfield, throwing up like a 45-50 million pound bid to Chelsea for him. Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing. They're just going to have to throw money at people for the first season or two, just until they get a couple of better names in. That will, as I say.
But then again, I'm thinking like Sal's not really worked out for Chelsea. If Gallagher continues to play the way he's playing, he'll probably just stay at Chelsea and probably just fit straight into that team. Because if Sal and Jorginho, they're getting their age is going up in that midfield.
Yeah.
If they're not improving, I could see him just sticking around at Chelsea and becoming a permanent fixture there, like Loftus-Cheek has sort of become now.
Yeah.
Oh god, two people that I want.
Newcastle, in which case he's got the Chelsea link.
Yeah,
If
that's true.
Newcastle, then he might, and Chelsea, might do him a solid because they might be like, yeah, all right, you can either take him on loan or you can take him on a permanent for 40 mil.
I'd love if Palace pay 40 mil for Gallagher. I'd love that. I'd pay that for him. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be.
You guys heard about the other 19 teams that are currently trying to call an emergency Premier League meeting about the.
I love it. I hope it goes through, man. I hope it goes through. The shithousery would be hilarious if we get that whole thing revoked.
Yeah, I'd love it.
But yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. In fact, I'm happy that it happened to Newcastle fans because I like Geordies. I think they're really lovely people. I think the city of Newcastle is fantastic. I don't get the whole Newcastle deserve it.
No,
they don't.
There's loads of teams that deserve it.
They don't deserve it at all. Like, why do they deserve it? Because they had Alan Shearer and did fuck all with him.
Yeah.
Probably not. Their last top flight title came in 1927. Leave it out, man.
Yeah. Mike Ashley though is looking at Derby as his next business venture. God help them.
Is he trying to go to prison?
it very much sounds like it.
All he wants to do is play tennis for 10 years, and then he's just going to get some white collar case and just go play tennis in a prison for 10 years.
He can own HMP FC. They need an owner.
That's true. Actually, that HMP FC is already better than Newcastle FC. So he'd be moving on.
Names, 100%. They're more of an attractive club, clearly, at the moment.
And I have to say, Ollie, you've smashed it with the segue there, because we do come nicely into the fact that Benjamin Mendy has been denied bail for the third time ahead of his trial, facing multiple charges of rape and sexual assault. So yeah, what an absolute scumbag he is. Yeah, I mean, we don't have to touch too much on this, but I thought it would be good to let the people know.
It's just happening so much at the moment as well. Like, I don't know if this is I don't know if it's happening more or it's being reported and it's being spoken out on more than it has in previous years. Because I can imagine that there was a whole load of things that footballers used to do back in the day, which is not acceptable now. But yeah, it seems like it's happening more and more frequently, even though arguably it's a lot harder to sort of get away with anything like that these days.
Yeah, I mean, they'll come down hard on him as well, especially with everything that's been going on recently with police and all this, Sarah Everard and all this kind of stuff. Like, they're really gonna fucking come down. I hope they do as well. He deserves it. But yeah, I mean, it's nuts, man. What a twat. But yeah, England. Let's talk a bit about England, because I had an article here, and annoyingly, it's now taken the link to the live England-Hungary feed rather than the article that was there. Rather than the article that was there prior to the game. But it was basically from memory. It was basically Gareth Southgate was talking about the England team and picking the England team and saying that he said that he always commits a crime when picking the England team because there are so many good ballers to choose from. And I just wanted to pose a question. Do you know how people love to get on Gareth about his team selections? We obviously had it all throughout the Euros. I think we still got it now. What do you guys think of that? I think he's completely correct in what he's saying, that, you know, it's doomed if you do, doomed if you don't, basically, as an England manager.
You're never going to please everyone. It's impossible to, because there's so many decent players at the moment that there's only a certain amount of players you can take, and if you've got, say, 30 great players but you can only take 24 of them, or 26, however much it is at the moment, then there's going to be a handful of names, or just over a handful of names, that are going to be sort of left out and people are going to be annoyed about. And because of the teams that people support and because of where their bias lies and stuff like that, then people are always going to give them stick online. There's probably people out there thinking that players that the three of us would never think of to be on that England team should be on there, but yeah, it's one of those situations. Like you say, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
obviously,
agree as well. But he must know that. I mean, he does know that. But like, does he have to? Like, obviously, like everyone knows that. We just like to complain. If you don't debate it, then
yeah,
that's the whole point. So I don't really know why he's like talking about it now as if it's new. But he is correct in saying he's damned if he does, damned if he don't. Like, before the Euros, me included, I would have said don't start Sterling. Then he has a
yeah,
blinder
I
at the
agree.
Euros. So fair enough.
We were the same. I think the only person on this podcast that said start Sterling was Harry.
I think so. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I completely agree. Obviously, his contract is out as well at the end of the end of the World Cup next summer, and he said that he's pushed back his contract talks to later on in the year, later on this year after the World Cup qualifiers are done, to get or like these rounds of World Cup qualifiers or whatever, because he wants to just focus on the task ahead. Do you think that Gareth will re-up his contract, or do you think he'll move on post World Cup?
I'd like to hope so. Just because he has been good for us, very good.
Yeah.
We've been the most successful under him than we have under
Any manager, well, apart from
any manager in the last 50 odd years.
I can't remember the England manager that.
Yeah, and I do like Gareth as well. Like as a
Alf Ramsey, of course, Sir Alf Ramsey. There you
as
go.
a person, and morally, I like Gareth. Obviously, some of his tactics are questionable, like his subs and his penalty takers. But that literally happens to everyone in the tournament, and he's going to get criticised again. Damned if he does, damned if he don't. I
think people need to learn to trust him as well, because it's clearly working. All the stuff that he's been doing, we got to the Euros final, and we're obviously doing pretty well in terms of the qualifiers at the moment. Well, not so much this game, we're drawing 1-1, but we absolutely dominated Andorra the other day. Also, I know it's Andorra, but at the same time, it wasn't just a stupid little 1-2-0 win. We looked really good and we played really well, and there were 5 different goal scorers on the sheet at the end. So people need to trust him.
Wait though, I mean, no one's going to be after him. No club's going to be after him. Why not just wait until maybe after the World Cup or when it rolls around? Although if it's a formality that it's going to be sort of done and dusted, he would resign. Then I suppose why wouldn't you just do it? But it's a totally horrendous World Cup. But
Southgate to Newcastle, you heard it here first.
I could fully see him being Palace manager after Vieira's time is done. I don't know why. I could just fully see it happening. Obviously, he's played at Palace for a long time in his career.
Is he a Palace
loved
fan?
by the fan. I don't know if he's a Palace fan. I don't actually know, to be honest. But obviously, he played for us for a very long time. Well, a long time, yeah. He was with us from '88 to '95, and then came through our academy as well. So I'm assuming that he might. Yeah, you never know. He's from Watford. But you wouldn't support Watford, would you? Why would you do that? That'd be silly. We'll claim him. But yeah, no. It's interesting. I don't think he'll re-up. I think once the World Cup's done, I think that'll be it. If Frank Lampard is smart, he takes the under-21 job ASAP, gets that in the books, gets a year or like a World Cup under his belt in the under-21s, and he takes that England job straight after Southgate.
Yeah,
that would be pretty cool. Or Steven Gerrard, but I feel like Steven Gerrard's future lies in club football.
Level, 100%.
Yeah. But yeah, that would be for me. Ideal would be Southgate do this World Cup. Then, if he doesn't re-up, let Lampard take over, because I think I think it's a perfect job for Lampard now.
Yeah, definitely. I think we spoke about this maybe during the Euros. But yeah, we said that it would be the ideal thing for Lampard to move into the under-23 and under-21s now, because he like, for want of a better phrase, he loves the kids. He loves bringing these young players through the academy and stuff like that. So he wants to give these young players a chance, and I think that him doing that in the sort of the under-21s or the under-23s in England, it's going to give him that experience at an international level. Obviously not at as big a stage as the seniors, but he can then sort of structure these players and manage them into the way that hopefully he will then bring them into the senior squad once he eventually gets that job, if he does get it in the end. So I think it would all all go down quite well for him. It's a better structure. Char has just redeemed a hydrate, so if anyone's got a drink, give this a little sip, lads.
Who is the current
Do you not
England under
worry
21?
though that Lampard's been out of football for so long? I know you're saying if he takes the under 21s, but if he doesn't, then would you still have him, or would you say no, he's been out of football too long?
No, he's been out of football too long for me.
I can envision Southgate leaving as well. To be fair, like calling it quits, but I don't know, man. He's just doing good at the job. He loves the job, but maybe he wants a break. You know, like. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know who you get. And I don't know if that man is Lampard.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Whoever it is has got to be an Englishman. I know, like it just has to be. It has to be the person because they get it, man. They understand what it's about. We've
It's a
seen
different
what's
level of
happened under-
passion.
I mean, look at Capello. Look at Ericsson. It was awful. So yeah, like it's got to be an English Donny. It has to be.
Yeah. There's a certain like increase in passion and commitment that you have managing for your home country, like your actual look at the place where you're from, where you represent. You don't necessarily. Well, I personally don't think that managers have that same level when they're not when they're managing a country that's not anything related to them or anything like that. They don't have.
Why would they?
The same
Like
pressures,
they just wouldn't.
Obviously, I know at the end of the day it's their job, but it's not just the fact that it's their job for English people managing the England team. It's the fact that you're managing your country, and it's such an honour, I think. And obviously, English people are a lot of them are quite patriotic anyway. So that sort of thing, it's probably a massive honour.
Yeah, I mean, look at people being going to prison because of stuff the horrible shit they've been tweeting because they got riled up at an England football game. Like, this is how stupid. One, this is how stupid English fans are specifically, and two, how stupid just football fans are in general. Like, we're idiots, aren't we, boys? Like, if we're being completely honest, we run on emotion. We, stupid shit. I mean, there are more dickheads out there than a lot of people. Especially with the racial stuff and stuff like that. It's just fucking idiots, scumbags.
But it's literally the same across every country.
Yeah,
we're not the worst by any means, but we're certainly not the best.
I know. I do certainly feel like we're top 5 worst. 100%.
Yeah,
100%. We should do a power rankings of the worst international fans. That'd be hilarious. That'll get us cancelled.
Definitely.
But yeah, we'll move on now because otherwise we'll stay on this topic for far too long. But quickly, obviously, I don't know if you saw guys about this the other day, but Thibaut Courtois hit out about UEFA saying how they prioritise money over the player well-being. This came obviously after Belgium lost to Italy in their Nations League third place playoff because we need that. We need a third place playoff in the Nations League.
Not in the Euros, but the Nations League.
Yeah, exactly. And then, Courtois basically was saying that it was a pointless game, and the players already play too many games in a year, which I get. Especially, and mate, they better get used to it if Wenger gets his ways, because he'll have a World Cup every 2 years if it's up to him.
Well, he did mention that as well, I think, in these. I think he did mention that in the. Yeah, I think I read
that on Sky Sports.
Yeah, he mentioned that, and that was like kind of in his backing. So he said, so it's clear that they just care about the money and not players' welfare.
They do.
Yeah, I mean, none of the fans.
And it's horrible they got Wenger now. Because as you say what you like about Wenger, but he always felt like he loved the game and he loved the players.
He did
over everything.
And now he's not at Arsenal at international level. He's just middle fingers.
And they got the perfect person for it. They got the perfect person to turn and to promote this, because people do trust Arsene Wenger.
Definitely.
Even though he's been used as a puppet right now, if we're being completely honest. But yeah, it is tough. I mean, they do play way too many games.
It is all him, isn't it? It's his idea.
Okay. What is it though? This is stuff we don't know. Yeah. Like, is it? Because he's been so anti this his entire career, like this kind of thing.
But he was working on Arsenal's interests, weren't he? Like, and now he's. I know he works for UEFA, but if he does it, so Arsene Wenger's always been kind of like he's always modernised the game, hasn't he? He's always tried to do more things with it and sort of break it away from its traditions. So it doesn't surprise me that he would do something like this.
I guess because it's at a different.
I see what you're saying.
Because it's on a different stage as well. I think like it's probably easier for him to try and get something like this going, being at sort of UEFA or FIFA compared to at club level. Because at club level, you've got to get all 20 teams to agree. You've got to get the Premier League to agree, all this sort of stuff. But when you're at UEFA or FIFA, you make the demands on those teams. If they want to participate, they've got to basically stick to it, and that's the long short of it, really. I think he's probably got a bigger scope of things to change within the international, things that he can probably force through compared to the Premier League or just club level in general. But yeah, for me, it's a shame to see him trying to do these things, because it's not something that I agree with, and not many people do. But obviously, having that respect for Wenger sort of throughout the years, and now seeing this sort of thing come in, it's annoying, and it's a bit sort of heartbreaking, really, to see that sort of thing. But yeah.
No, it'd be interesting. I do actually agree with Bard's point there, actually, to be fair, about him, was he pushing the game forward and this kind of thing. But I just think this is almost a step further than he's ever gone, if you know what I mean, where he is like actually actively doing something that fans don't want, that changes the game completely. This you never know what the knock-on effects of having 2 World Cups could be. Maybe you'll have World Cups, maybe players don't want to go. You know, shit like this. They played so much football for their club. Maybe it gets to the point where we'll have a tournament where you could have Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane. These men be like, you know what? I play so much football, I'm not doing it. And then that's just messes it up for everyone, doesn't it?
I don't like the idea, and I don't know anyone that does like the idea. But I'm not surprised this is from Wenger, because he was doing terrible in the job when he was coming to the end of his career, and now he's doing, in my opinion, terrible in this job. So it's not surprising that he's carried on that trend. Just because he's trying to come up with an innovative idea doesn't mean it's a good one. So
I think he is sort of a bit of a scapegoat, I think, for this as well, because he is one of the forces behind it, but he's not the be all and the end all behind it. There's obviously a lot of people there that clearly think it's a good idea, otherwise it wouldn't get very far in the first place. He's got a whole team of people that must be backing him to try and push this forward. It can't just be down to him, but he just seems to be the main face behind it.
I believe that this has been, but I have no proof of this whatsoever. It's just my gut feeling on the situation, is that it's not necessarily his idea, but he's been used as the man to push it forward because people trust Arsene Wenger.
He's the face of it,
yeah, and that's what I believe. And I have to disagree with your point about him being bad in the end of his Arsenal job, because we've seen what's happened with a similar team since he's left and how much worse they've been. And the fact that he managed to get, the fact that he's managed to have him at 4th with that awful team. Fair play to him.
20 plus.
But I get it. No, I get it, man. Man United, Arsenal, Wenger, Alex Ferguson. There's history between you guys. I've just been on the outside enjoying it as a neutral.
I think it was exactly. I think today or yesterday was the anniversary of Wenger joining Arsenal back in '96, 25 years ago.
I like Wenger.
I think it was today.
I like Wenger,
but I can't remember. But yeah, I think just sort of still half staying on that topic, but I just think the Nations League in general is just the most fucking pointless thing in the world. It was meant to take away the pointless kind of friendlies that they have and add a bit of competition in it. But all it is, it's just a pointless competition now. It's got no relevance to it. No one cares. I had no idea it was even going on until all of a sudden, a couple of weeks ago, my Euro 2020 app changed to Nations League app, and everything just changed on it. I was a bit like, what the fuck? But
I had no idea. I didn't know until like, when was it, a couple of days ago, that it's got to the finals yet. I was like, oh shit.
Not a clue. Didn't even realise we got that
I was trying to think. I was like, when did we get knocked out and who by? I was like, I couldn't
When
remember.
did we get knocked out?
Literally, I have no idea. The last thing I remember about the Nations League before this year's Nation League was Portugal won. And then all of a sudden, apparently now we're in quarterfinals. That's all I know.
Wait, what? When did we get? We failed to qualify.
Oh,
no, that's 2018.
We did qualify in 2018, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't know. It's awful. Who cares? Yeah, we were no. Yeah, we lost to no. We were in the semi-finals,
Yeah,
lost
we
to
lost to
Belgium, I
Belgium.
think, didn't we?
I know Portugal won because then they went on to win the Euros.
See, well, we don't even know what the
no,
hell's going on
before that.
last time. This is
Oh
how
my
they
God.
thought they were getting rid of the pointless bit in the pointless friendlies, but they got rid of the friendlies bit and just put competition in there instead.
Yeah, still
Um,
pointless.
But yeah, Ollie, we're going to shout out some Arsenal here, but Arsenal that you can actually get behind, mate. Because I thought we'd give a little shout out to the Women's Super League. We don't really talk about the Women's Super League much,
My
but I
gals.
thought, why not pick them up a bit? And I managed to I caught a bit of highlights of some Women's Super League games that were going on. It actually looked quite mad. Some of the stuff that was going on.
I've been keep
Yeah.
up with the Arsenal side of it a bit more this season because it seems to be a lot more heavier on their social media channels, and all I can do at the moment is we're dominating.
Yeah, man, unbeaten after the first 5 games, only conceded 2 goals and scored 19. Absolutely outrageous. Obviously, Chelsea, Spurs, and United are following closely. I feel like they're only like a point, maybe 2 points behind you, and you've got a big game against Tottenham coming up on November 14th. Yes, I did have a look.
Yeah.
I'm getting into the Women's Super League, boys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm getting into it. Palace aren't in the Women's Super League, so I'm gonna have to live vicariously through another team.
I'm
for a
pretty
bit.
sure that
But-
Reading are in the.
They are.
Women's
They're not
Super
doing very
League
well,
Premier
though.
League. No, they're not. No.
They used to have Fran Kirby. I remember when they had Fran Kirby back in the day, but now she's like a Chelsea legend.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
But yeah, big up the Women's Super League. I'm gonna stay intact with it. I'm gonna try and shout it out as much as I can on this podcast. Hopefully, get some female viewers in the. Who knows? I mean, we could have the next Fran Kirby watching right now.
100%.
Who knows?
100%. I'm definitely going to be joining you with that because it's the only positive thing I've got to say about Arsenal for the majority of the time at the moment. So, big
Yeah, I
up the
feel like-
women.
I don't know. I feel like we're in like the league below the.
Yeah,
Super
you
League.
are. You're like the
So-
championship.
Yeah, but big up the Palace Women's. Let's go. We've got a big game against Luz coming up.
I think Liverpool's women's team.
We just beat Coventry on the 10th. Well done, 3-2, big game.
I can't remember. I think Liverpool's female team, are they in the Super League or are they the league below? I can't remember.
I think they are in the Super League.
No, I think they're the league below. They might be in the same league as Palace, but
Yeah, we're in the Women's Super League too with Liverpool.
yeah.
Durham sitting top. Holy shit, we're 6th. Come on, girls.
I love how
got
mixed
it.
up it is in the Women's Super League compared to the Premier League.
Yeah.
Love
Oh, big
Also, I think we
win.
should shout out our friend Hendry because Scotland are currently facing the Faroe Islands and it's 0-0, so they're doing really well, keeping a clean sheet.
Yeah.
Um,
Your boy
Oh, I
in the
can't
Women's
even. I can't even jokingly shout out Scotland on this. I just can't.
Your boy McTominay scored the other day.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, he did
Yeah,
score. He did.
Yeah.
I don't care. It was for Scotland, so.
He kind of like dicked it into the goal, kind of. You know, like he like body rolled it into the goal almost.
When
I
I
don't
saw
know.
it, I expected a screamer akin to what he did against Man City.
From Hendry's
When I
reaction
saw
to it.
it, yeah. So yeah, I watched it back. I was like, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was just
He got
in the
the
right
win.
place at the right time. He's sort of in the way, if anything. But yeah. But yeah, well, let's talk a bit about the UEFA Nations League. Well, I'd say a bit. We're going to really skim over this shit. So France won, obviously, after beating Spain 2-1 in the final. When Mbappe and Benzema, their 2 guys, got the goals by Oyarzabal?
I never know. I know the name, but I can never pronounce it.
Oyarzabal, I think. Oyarzabal? I don't know. But sorry, lad. Yeah, he scored for Spain, obviously, and then Belgium lost to Italy in the third place playoff, as I mentioned earlier with the Courtois news. They also lost. But so, I don't know. Who cares about if England aren't in it? I don't care.
Straight up.
But yeah, let's talk about England. We'll move on. Unless you guys want to mention anything about the Nations League before we move on to England, where we're finishing up.
No one cares.
I was just gonna say, it feels weird that they're like that's going on while the World Cup qualifiers are going on. It's like 2 separate entities and competitions and governing bodies. Games going on at the same time, both at international like football,
Yeah.
and it just like totally dilutes. I mean, obviously the World Cup qualifiers are more important than the Nations League, so it just totally devalues and dilutes what the hell's going on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
So it's
That's the
just
thing.
stupid.
Like France playing Albania is in the World Cup qualifiers is bigger for them than playing Spain in the Nations League final. Like
Yeah.
it just is. So yeah, it's going to be hard to legitimize that international tournament with the Euros and the World Cup with so much heritage that those both have. Even the qualifiers as well are more like more fun than the or more high stakes, I suppose, in the Nations League.
Yeah, exactly. Something people
yeah.
actually care about.
Let's talk about England, boys. Let's finish with England because we love England. It's our home. It's where we live. It's our football team. So yeah, let's talk about them. Obviously, we beat Albania again. Andorra 5-0. Did you like my little thing in here, which I said was the real fire performance in the stadium that weekend?
That made me chuckle when I say that.
Yeah, obviously we have 5 different goal scorers, like Ollie you mentioned previously. Ben Chilwell, Bukayo Saka, our fan favourite on the podcast here. Tammy Abraham, James Ward-Prowse, and man like Jack Grealish. Yeah, I didn't actually see. I was been working over the weekend, so I didn't actually get to see this game. Did either of you guys watch it or?
Yeah. Well, I was sort of half. I watched the second half, I think, all of the second half, but I watched bits of the first, and I got a notification on my phone pop up saying James Ward-Prowse missed penalty. I was like, you're so shit. I was getting really pissed off, and it popped up a second later saying James Ward-Prowse scores. And I was like, this can only mean one thing. Brought up the stream on my phone. I was like, yep, there we go. Yeah, he scored the rebound. I was getting really pissed off of him. Like, what the fuck? You're so shit, or whatever. But yeah,
it's a terrible penalty as well.
It was shocking. But he was.
I don't see how he deserves a place in this England team.
No,
you just don't. Like he says, he's picked players on merit. He's done nothing this year. If you're picking players on merit, there's a load of names that you put ahead of him. I know you're trying to flesh it out. You haven't got your Bellinghams and people like that in there for resting and that. But even so, there's more players. Conor Gallagher deserves that spot over him, if we're being honest. Like, what? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think James Ward-Prowse is he's a dead ball specialist, but then he goes and whacks a penalty like that. It doesn't really help doesn't really justify his place, does it? So I don't really.
Dead ball specialist, he misses a penalty.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he is there to fill a quota, and that's to take Bellingham's space while he's being rested. That's it.
Yeah, basically. It would have been nice to actually have a player on merit in there. I know I'm a bit biased because Gallagher's playing for Palace this season, but there's no way that he doesn't. That James Ward-Prowse, based on how he's played this season, deserves a spot over Gallagher. Mm-hmm. Gallagher's in the team of the Premier. So far, through the first however many weeks we've had, Gallagher is in the Premier League team of the season.
I mean, if you're going to do that and you're going to play James Ward-Prowse just for the sake of playing him, why not play someone who you think, you know what, he could give a run for his money, or someone else, you know?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Why not actually put in a headache as opposed to just, okay, well, I know we were singing Southgate's praises earlier, but basically bottling an opportunity to literally stick someone left field in there, but has started the season really well.
Yeah, like give him a chance. This is the perfect time to test stuff out and have a little experiment where we're playing fucking Andorra and Hungary and Albania and San Marino.
We're drawing against Hungary and we've got a pretty strong team out. So
yeah, not if Gallagher was playing.
It's because Saka didn't start.
Obviously, we're currently we'll be 5 points clear of Albania if we draw this. Hopefully we win and we'll be 7 points clear. Quick maths there. We're cemented on to make there's no way we're not making the World Cup. Do you know what I mean? It's a moot point at this point. But one thing I did want to bring up with you guys quickly is I saw obviously about he came out and said John Stones is no problem about losing his spot. Obviously we know Maguire at the moment, so that makes a lot more sense. But he did say once again, I'm coming back to this merit thing. And is it right that John Stones just keeps his place if he is barely playing for Man City so far this season? When we do have like I put here Ezri Konsa, Bukayo Tomori, there's other names that you could put in there. I know I've just Mark Gay, Ben White, Ben White if he turns the season around a bit more and continues to improve. But John Stones is literally not playing.
Yeah, it's a tough one I think for John Stones because he is a good player, but he's struggling to get into that City side because there's players like Laporte and Diaz keeping him out, who are both world-class players. It's tough because, like I said, John Stones isn't bad, and he probably would get into that team. But it's just the fact that he's
our second best centre back. That is But he needs to
Definitely.
play, innit? Like,
Exactly,
he needs to
but
play.
yeah, he does need to play because eventually it will get to the point where if Gareth does keep bringing him or starting him for England and he's not getting the minutes at City, he could be not as good for England because he isn't getting those minutes for City. I know it's still very early in the season and stuff like that, which is probably a bit more why that Gareth's thinking behind still taking him and everything, and because of Maguire being out. But at the same time, if it gets later in the season and he's still not getting the minutes in, will he make it to the World Cup? I'm not 100% sure if he will, because the lack of match fitness he must have. You can do all the training and everything like that you want, but if you're not consistently playing either a full 90 or the majority of a full 90, it doesn't have the same effect as when you're obviously just running around during training and stuff like that. It's not the same level of intensity, and you need that on a more consistent basis.
That's it.
Pretty sure that John Stones started last season without being in the City squad, didn't he? And then him and Diaz were like unbelievable. And then it was Laporte who was looking to go in the summer.
Yeah,
and
Laporte
being
was
with
also
with
injured.
swap to Tottenham.
Laporte got quite a few injuries last season, I think.
So I think this season is fine for Stones. And Stones and Maguire were so good in the Euros. I thought Stones was really good. I thought he just looked effective.
Yeah, he was
you know,
fantastic.
and I wouldn't break up that partnership. I know he's not playing at the moment, but otherwise, what? Okay, I would have liked to see Tomori, but what, Tomori next to Mings? I'd rather not have Mings anywhere near that back.
No,
back
Ezri
line,
Konsa,
for whatever
mate.
reason.
Well, Mings has started to
Yeah,
know.
but for whatever reason, he keeps picking Mings as well. So I'd rather have Stones there, even regardless of like the time. But as I said, I'm pretty sure we had the same issue last season, but then the Stones ended up, getting in the side and turning the season around. There's not been that many games.
But
really.
there wasn't an obvious standout second. There wasn't an obvious partner to Maguire. It was really, because what was it, Dyer or Mings or Cody?
Yeah,
And
which
that's
funny
not
enough.
gonna happen. Whereas now you have these young lads in Ezri Konsa, Fikayo Tomori, Mark Gay, who are all playing fantastic this season so far for their respective teams.
A little stat for you about Conor Cody. We've not actually conceded a goal since when he plays for England.
Okay.
Yeah, when he starts for England, we've not
I
conceded.
wonder who he's played against.
Yeah, Andorra.
Oh, mate,
Yeah.
probably Andorra about 5
Yeah.
times.
That's every time he started for England. Yeah, he's not conceded a goal. But
If Fikayo Tomori comes out, wins the Serie A with AC Milan, and starts for them every game, and is unreal, do you still go for Stones and Maguire fully fit, or do you give to if Stones still hasn't really barely played for City, like hypothetically, do you still give it to Stones and Maguire, or would you think about putting Maguire and Tomori in there, or if Maguire's not fit, I guess then you go.
I think
Then
you'd probably
the argument doesn't really take place because it'll be Stones and Tomori, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
So,
but there are players that we've sort of half forgotten about. Players in sort of Joe Gomez, really. He's obviously coming back from injury. Maybe he does something at Liverpool this season. Sort of picks up where he left off before the injury and everything. But he could work his way back into that England squad as well.
That Van Dijk, that man is shaky.
Yeah, that's a good point. But no, it could be someone else, a little forgotten soul in Joe Gomez. But that's all dependent on.
Captain, boy. Get the under 21s captain in there.
No one cares about your Palace by herself.
Not gay. Get him in. But yeah, no, that's what I really want to talk about. Was just a bit of squad depth and stuff like that. Like, obviously, I feel really like whatever team we put. I feel good about the World Cup. I think, especially now you're seeing Foden and Grealish really be integrated into this team a hell of a lot more than they were in the Euros. That can only be a good thing, right? That there's no way that can be a bad thing. And then Bellingham will be a year on. I think Bellingham's going to be a huge part. Obviously, Gareth likes him a lot. And Sancho's featuring more and actually playing well for England.
Good 2 assists the other day.
Hopefully, for the sake of my fantasy team, hopefully this means he kicks on for United. For God's sake.
Oh my God, me too.
I put a lot of stock in Man United for this season, and
really
it's not paying back with me right now. I have to be honest.
I reckon once Rashford's back, which should probably be after this international break, it's looking like.
Yeah.
I think you can count on Sancho being good, because I think they do. That will literally be Rashford on the left, Sancho actually playing on the right, because for fuck knows why he's been playing on the left, even though we literally bought him as a right winger. But once those two are on, I think your fantasy team might be on something.
I really hope so, man. I really hope so. I need it.
Well, I've got Rashford set on my bench since the draft. I drafted him, and he's just been sat on my bench ever since because he's obviously been coming back from injury. But I thought if I don't draft him, someone else will, and they'll sit him on his bench.
I have to die on this Sancho hill because I can't get rid of him. If I get rid of him, someone will pick him up and then he'll start playing.
That's exactly how I feel about Cavani at the moment. I know as soon as I get rid of him, he'll start performing.
Well,
and there's not really anyone else to bring in.
Behind closed doors friendly. So Rashford got 2 goals. That was his first game back, so there you go.
Very nice. That's the Rashford back, Eze back, Life's Ollie. Anyone back? I don't know.
I don't really have that many people injured at the moment, if anyone.
Fair.
I don't think.
Fair.
Chamberlain back.
Yeah, there you go. Oxlade-Chamberlain back. Rob Holding back. Fuck it.
Jesus
He'll
Christ.
be back.
Back
but
on
no.
the bench.
Premier League is back this weekend. Make sure, obviously, we'll be. Bart, you're not available for Thursday, am I right?
No, I won't be about Thursday. But
that's all right. Harry will be here. So Harry will be doing the preview for the weekend football. I don't know about you guys, but I am so glad the Premier League is back. And it kicks off with a bit of a bang because Ollie.
Oh no, mate.
We're coming at you. We're coming for you. We're coming for you this weekend.
Like as much as I think it is going to be a close game, I think. But
it could go either way.
Yeah.
I can see us win it. I can see us win it. I can see it being a draw. It's really up in the air.
Yeah, anything could happen in that game. Really, you could fucking absolutely smash us. We could absolutely smash you. We could also.
Our pressing might be a problem for you guys, but if we can keep that up for the full 90, because we saw what your pressing against Brighton's pressing did you guys in. So hopefully we can replicate that kind of thing. You know,
that's the thing. Well, we did deal with the pressure quite well. Well, we dealt with it in a better way, but they were also shocking at converting their chances. So it's not filled me with too much confidence. But hopefully we can revert back to that winning way at the winning team that we had at Spurs, and just look pure confidence throughout the whole the full 90.
Good. I think it's got a real it could be a really exciting
game of the season, mate. I reckon.
I think for neutrals it could be quite exciting to see two teams, probably because we're both going to go for it.
No, yeah, definitely.
You know, we're both looking at each other like, oh, this is a win opportunity.
Definitely.
So,
but I think, like I said in the group chat last night, if any manager's going to beat us, I'm kind of bit glad it's going to be Patrick Vieira.
Vieira, he beat Spurs. You know, he won his first Crystal Palace home game. He beat Spurs on his first game against Spurs. Let's beat Arsenal. Is it at the Emirates?
I'm not sure. Can't remember.
Well, we'll talk about that on Thursday anyway, won't we?
Exactly. We'll preview all of this. There's plenty of time.
Exactly. We're going to wrap it up there, lads, unless you have anything else you'd like to say about international stuff or anything like that.
No. Come on, England. It's coming home.
Come on, England. How are we looking? Is it still 1-1?
It is, yeah. Just over an hour in.
Well, hopefully we'll finish off with a win. But thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks to Ollie and Bars for being here today with moi, talking some football. It was good to chat to you guys. And make sure to like, subscribe, follow. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Twitch, everything. Hit notification bells. Just follow us. We'll hit you with a socials in the chat now.
Sorry.
Now, Ollie.
You're putting pressure on. I'm spelling things wrong.
That's all right. Yeah, so we've got socials in the chat now. If you're at Twitch, make sure to follow. And they'll be in the description and stuff on YouTube. And on Spotify, they'll be in the page somewhere. It's fine. Whatever. Exactly. Apple Music, that good stuff. But yeah, thanks everyone. And Mo Farah signs. See you laters.
Laters.
Bye.
Bye.